Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Alpha Real Confidence Podcast. This is episode 235, and this episode is for all you parents out there. So, girls, if you're listening, grab your mom, grab your dad, grab whoever, and have them listen to this episode because this one is for them. So, in this episode, parents, we're going to be talking about how you can support your kids in feeling confident for this new school year. So, last episode, if your kids missed the last one, make sure they go listen to it because we talked about how they can have a confident start to the new year. I shared 4 things that they can do to make sure that they're making new friends, being their self, all that good stuff so that they can feel confident heading into the new school year. So make sure they go check out that one. But this one is for you. So in this one, I'm going to also share 4 ways that you can best support your child as they are starting their new school year and just to ensure that they're feeling good, feeling confident. Because I know right now is probably the most stressful time of the year for you as a parent. We got new schedules. We got new practices, new teams, like there's just a lot going on. And it can be hard to keep track of everything, but also make sure that your kids are getting their homework done, eating the right foods, and just really taking care of themselves while you're also trying to manage your own life. So in this episode, my goal is to help you to just take away some of the stress around how you can best help them get ready for this new school year. So number 1, and I like to lead off with one of the most important things, is to make sure that you have open and positive conversations and communications leading up to the school year, right? So part 1 of this number 1, so 1.1, is to encourage your daughter to express her feelings and concerns. And also when they express her feelings and concerns, like validate those, reassure her that the way she's feeling is okay. Like it's normal to be nervous. It's normal to be, have these butterflies and maybe have some doubts and stuff like that. I just encourage you to be an active listener in this process and really just reassure her that it's okay to feel this way, that other kids are also feeling that way as well. And just emphasize and really encourage and emphasize your belief in her and use the positive and encouraging language to boost her confidence. And I know sometimes you may feel as a parent that, it doesn't matter what I say or what I do, and goes in one ear and out the other. And I get that. And yes, that happens a lot. But when you, express to your daughter, her strengths and remind her of her strengths, it really does help, even if she doesn't always make it seem that way or show that it's helping. So just use that open communication, validate, reassure, and just, if she's not one that wants to start the conversation, don't be afraid to ask her the questions like, hey, how can I best support you? How are you feeling? And just, create that open dialogue there. All right. Number 2, and this one is like really simple, really basic, is to just help them prepare. Like in all things before a game, before a test, before practice, whatever it is, preparation breeds confidence. So if they are prepared for that first day of school, they're going to feel a lot more confident than if you're running around trying to get breakfast made, trying to get the clothes set out on the bed, and trying to figure out where the classes are and what the locker combination is and how to open the locker and like all that stuff. Like helping them prepare could mean, I know it may be a little late for this, but maybe not for some, like maybe walking through the school, finding the classrooms, talking to the teachers may seem a little bit much, but like just helping them prepare with their environment. That could be, going to the locker and helping them, learn how to do their locker. I had a girl on one of my calls recently who was, one of the biggest things she was nervous about is like, how do I open my locker? And I was like, oh my gosh, I get that because I always had the hardest time. So is it like going to buy a lock and like practicing? Like that was my advice, to go buy a lock and practice doing that. So preparation on the macro level, right? So the classes, the practicing, navigating, that kind of stuff, but also on the micro level in terms of like helping them prepare like for the next day ahead. And then also kind of a little footnote to this one is that I want to make sure it's clear that my goal in this point is to help you to empower them to then take responsibility for their schedule once they kind of start to get the hang of it. So I know the first week it may be more hand holding, but then it's like, can you empower them to know when their homework's due, to know when their practices are, to know, what they have coming up the next day. And this has been a big topic in my group coaching program of like time management, and it just can take off such a huge burden of the parents. So also in your preparation to help them prepare, also think about how can I help them to take responsibility for their own schedule at the same time that I'm helping them to prepare. And that's just going to take a lot of load off of your back. All right, number 3 is to be supportive, but not overprotective. So what I mean by this is to allow your daughter some independence to navigate her new environment. Like, it's going to be scary. There's going to be new things. So it's like such a delicate balance of like paving the way for her and preparing everything for her versus letting her figure out some of those things on her own. So with this one and number 1, it's kind of like this delicate dance, right? Like, let her figure out and handle these minor challenges on her own, while letting her know that you're there if she needs it, right? So it's kind of like being that supporter from the front, saying like, I believe in you, I'm here for you. It's okay to feel this way, letting her go out and do the thing. And then it's kind of the support from the back saying, all right, go off into the wild, wild west. And I'm here if you need me. I'm here to support you if something goes wrong, to, help you through it. But really, it's so important for the confidence of our kids to, number 1, know that they have the support if they need it. But then number 2, to be able to work through challenges on their own and try to problem solve on their own before just immediately, like going to a parent or to a teacher. So that is a delicate balance. If I had all the answers onto how to do that, I will let you know. But all I know is like, can you provide support? But at the same time, give them the opportunity to mess up and to go through some messy times, because that's what builds confidence and resilience in them long term. All right. And then the last one, and this is more of like a tangible like activity that you can do with your daughter, is to highlight her strengths and past successes. So what I would suggest, instead of you just like reading off a list of all the things, is I would, sit down and ask her, hey, I want you to write down the things that you think you're really, really good at. So write down your strengths. Cool. She writes down her strengths. Hey, I want you to write down the things that you love about yourself. Like, you'll probably get an eye roll with this one. But I would encourage you to have that be a prompt. Like, hey, what do you love about yourself? Write them down. And she can or doesn't have to share these with you, but it's just a good way, because she's probably not going to do these on her own unless she's listening to this, to have her go through these exercises. So that's number 1 is what are her strengths. Number 2, what does she love about herself? And number 3, what are some past wins or successes that she's had that she can look back on and be proud of herself. So this one is really cool because, a lot of times when we're going through nerve-wracking things or, going through a bit of a slump, we just tend to focus on like the negative. But reliving and remembering those past wins and past successes can be really, really huge in like getting out of a rut. It's something I've done before where I'll pull out a notebook and I'll just write down like 2 pages worth of like things that I'm proud of myself that I did. And it's just a complete game changer, shifting from like this fear to then switching to, like this gratitude and being proud of herself. So those are some things that you can walk through with her. If you want to communicate about it, great. Or if it's just something that you encourage her to do, to write down and to really reflect on, I think that can be a really great exercise for her to kind of dissipate those nerves and start to feel a little bit more confident, a little bit more calm and ready, prepared to take on the new school year ahead. So a little recap. Let's do recap. Number 1 is make sure that you have this open and positive communication, biggest thing here is validating and reassuring her that the way she's feeling is normal. There's nothing wrong with her. She'll be able to get through it. All right. Number 2 is to help her prepare on the micro level. So right before, but also the macro level and navigating classes and stuff like that. But then to also empower in, her taking control of her own schedule. Number 3 is to be supportive, but not overprotective. So let her know you support her every step of the way, that you're there, but then she's also got to handle the challenges and do some problem solving on her own. And then last but not least is the exercise of her highlighting her strengths, what she loves about herself, and her past successes. So I hope this was helpful for you parents. If there's anything here that I missed or other kind of problems or things that you're questioning or wondering about or need support on, please let me know. My inbox is open. You can email me at shay@alphagirlconfidence.com. I love having open dialogue with parents. I love to know what's going on with your world so that I can better support you and your daughter. And if this episode was helpful, share it with another friend. I'm sure you've got a million other friends with kids that are also nervous for school and parents that are, stressed out about navigating all of this. So it would mean a lot if you shared it with someone if it was helpful. And again, make sure that your daughter checks out last week's episode. And I'm excited for the school year for your daughter. Again, if you need anything, let me know, and I'll catch you on next week's episode.